everybody, and welcome to the Virtual Cooking Challenge 2. Today we are here in Saitama, in a place called Hanno, at Alishan Organic Vegetarian Food Restaurant. It's very close to the very famous Koma Jinja. Jane?
And Alishan is generous and long-time sponsor of REI and our host for today.
Shall we go in and meet the man?
Let's go.
Follow us.
Very good afternoon, Jane.
Nice to see you.
Oh, good. Very good to see you.
Good.
Thank you for having us. Can you please show us around?
I sure will. Well,
Excellent.
this way, please.
The cafe is closed today and they're generously allowing us to do the cooking challenge event here.
Okay. First off, we'll go into the cafe store over here.
So this is the shop, the Alishan shop. Jack, you've got a lot of goods in here.
We do. What you have around us is a collection of organic and vegetarian foods that we've imported over the past 30 years. And one of the surprising things I realized this morning when we're making this is one of the items I chose for being in the package we sent to you was oatmeal. And all of you did many, many good things with it, but I realized that the reason I chose oatmeal is it's probably one of my most important foods. It's the reason we started importing organic food 32 years ago, was oatmeal, granola, and peanut butter. And so I'm so happy. I think that's why it ended up as one of the ingredient components.
Excellent, it's your signature.
It's my signature, yes. No one buys oatmeal. And let's see, we're going to have oatmeal today.
Yes.
We're going to have raisins today.
And pumpkin seeds.
And pumpkin seeds, you're right, they're over here somewhere, pumpkin seeds. And that, with tomatoes and Togan,
Yes.
is what everyone had to make their beautiful recipes with, which we're now going to go into the cafe and go over those.
Terrific. Can I ask you just one thing though about your suppliers though?
Please.
How do you get your relationships with your suppliers going?
I've been into food a long time, and in college, a long time ago, I was in food co-ops and would meet different people, because of course co-ops, one of the things is to buy direct from the source. And so that when you look around at our bulk commodities that we import for repacking, I know personally almost every single farmer in this room. And that stretches from apricots grown in northern Pakistan on the Hunza Chinese border to raisins and all the dried fruits you imagine that come out of California, across to pumpkin seeds from Austria.
Truly global, like REI. Great.
Fantastic. It's individual relations with everybody.
Pretty much. You know, it's one, I love the opportunity to get out to the farm and to talk to people and hear their stories as to what happens. And so Alishan is a farm gate to fork operation. And we're now extended in that we're actually involved in people creating recipes today using those ingredients.
Excellent.
That's great.
All right, speaking of creating recipes, we have a whole bunch of really nice ones to have a look at. Let's go to the cafe.
Right on.
So here we are in the Alishan Cafe, and a huge thank you to Jack and his team at Alishan for generously sponsoring the second cooking challenge, also sponsoring the first one, so thank you very much. And it's fascinating. I think we've all had a great time looking at the submissions, yet again, such a variety and so much imagination has gone into them. We've got a lot to talk about, so what we'll do first is get into the recipes. Quickly on the concept. The thinking behind the challenge is imagine life as a refugee. And if you're living in a camp, which a lot of refugees are, they have to live off limited rations. So they're often provided like rice, beans, salt, oil. Those are the main rations that they'll get. And living day after day with those sorts of rations, they have to be incredibly creative and find different ways to do it. And when I go visiting the projects, I'm always impressed at how people greet you. The hospitality is amazing. Slightly embarrassing, but it is such a wonder to go there and to enjoy the foods that they're preparing. And today's dishes certainly echo that. We've seen some great dishes and a lot of variety. So let's have a look at them as we're going through them. We've talked about the ingredients: the raisins, the togan, the winter melon, rolled oats, pumpkin seeds, and the snow potatoes. The snow potatoes come from a community in Nakatsugawa, and the winter melon came from a farmer in Kanagawa who works with the local communities and is developing his own way of doing it. It's very interesting to read that he actually is concerned about SDGs too. But as we're here to talk about the foods, let's get into the recipes.
Now also you can see on the screen in front of you photos of the recipes as we talk our way through them. So let's go to entry number 1.
Entry number 1, I don't know, in judging we don't know who's produced these dishes. We have the names on a separate list. But I do know that entry number 1 was prepared by Gordon, who's living in Cambodia. So Gordon requires a special mention because all the prizes are Japan-based. And he had a good time. He was able to source all the ingredients, and he's done interesting things like fake hummus. He made a drink out of the oatmeal and good use of ingredients. He then used the puree from that when he strained the drink. He used the remainder of it in his dessert. So he did a great job, and well done, Gordon. Thank you for sourcing your own ingredients.
Thank you very much. All right, so that dish was titled Fake Hummus, Fried Potato Balls, Oat and Raisin Dessert. Now the next one, entry number 2, Creamy Potato and Togan Soup with Oat Flat Bread, REI Power Balls.
Don't you love that? REI Power Balls. We've got to make them
listen, it could be a fundraising vehicle. Let's start producing them.
I think that's a good idea. So
you can imagine if you had the stall and you had like, get your REI Power Balls right here. Sounds like a lottery, doesn't it?
And the inspiration for this dish comes from the participants' home in Czech Republic, and the soups and warming up the soups, and just some lovely dishes with the flatbread. So
I think it was the flatbread that reminded me that oats don't always have to look like oatmeal or oatmeal cookie or that. I found it, oh yeah, flatbread, oats, when I looked at the photo.
And there were several things as we're going through that, I've been cooking all my life, I had a restaurant. Sometimes I didn't think about some of the ideas that came up in this, which is great.
All right, then now, here's a pronunciation that I double-checked on YouTube and forgot promptly. So Jane, do you know how to read number 3? Melon?
Parmigiana.
Parmigiana, sorry about that. So melon parmigiana with fried potato sticks.
Which I assume is Italian, but I might be wrong. If I've offended anyone with that. A lot of people had difficulty working out what to do with the togan, the winter melon, and that was all part of the challenge. And interestingly, this entry, number 3, actually mentions getting rid of the excess liquid by compressing it between kitchen towels, paper towels. So was able to get good use of that and make a croquette with it. So that was very interesting and nicely presented on this blue Japanese plate.
On the subject of nicely presented, I thought the fried potato sticks were some of the most neatly presented potato sticks I'd ever seen.
Very, very, absolutely priced. Perfect hotel display.
They look like stacks of wood.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? It's lovely. It's very nice indeed.
And nicely minimalised.
And if you look at the photograph, sorry.
With a nice glass of wine.
Yeah, I was about to say, yes,
Not part of
the
that.
glass of wine is not part of it, nor is the candle, but it's very, very nice indeed. Okay, Moving on to entry number 4, which is oat bean cookies and Togan potato raisin stir fry.
Well, these were fun, the heart-shaped cookies. Again, this was a childhood inspiration. Quite a few people talk about the inspiration that's given them these dishes, and this was a childhood inspiration, and copying things that her mother prepared and putting her own take on it, and learning how to use the winter melon. So yes, very nice use of decorating with the raisins on the Togan and potato.
Actually, I didn't realize that it was a childhood memory. I thought the person was being topical and making up a Halloween mask.
It does look like that.
It pays not to read the instructions.
They have lovely smiles.
And there are actually no instructions in this, in this meal.
And this one added, everyone can add an ingredient of their own. This one added some canned beans.
Okay, then moving on to entry number 5, autumn gratin bowl.
Yeah, nicely seasonal. I mean, Japan food is so typically seasonal, and the items were the togan and the potatoes, the snow potatoes. So, a well-chosen dish for the season. Commented on the melon absorbing flavours, and that's, I think, the important thing of using this winter melon, or togan.
Though not to perpetually come to the defense of oatmeal, I found it interesting that after they boiled the togan, they then just took the water and made their oatmeal with it, and that's the thickener for the soup. I've never related to it. We all know that oatmeals get thick when you boil them. That I said, well, I'm going to go home with a new use of oatmeal.
Yeah. Yes, and oatmeal is incredibly versatile, so everyone was lucky to have that.
It is very versatile.
And there was a good use of the melon as the dish in this, and the beautiful. I think the children put the pumpkin seeds around it.
And nothing goes to waste. That's, of course, food loss is a big issue. I've got a spider on me. It's a lovely, lovely location here, right on Koma River. Fantastic, beautiful outdoor setting. But we do get a few of our spider visitors dropping in on us every now and then.
I view them as one of the residents. They were here before us, and of course, since we're an organic cafe and there are no chemicals used, maybe we have a higher density of birds, which we were marking on earlier, and the spiders that go along with that. But the spiders are good because they capture, things like mosquitoes and flies.
Yeah.
And it all adds to the wonderful character of Alishan.
Stuart's remark about spiders is that today we don't have an umbrella, a parasol above us, but normally all tables have parasols because the amount of little things dropping from the sky, leaves, our whole deck is surrounded by massive trees. So
let's hope it's fine today then.
Yeah.
Yes, and usually the follically challenged wear hats in these situations too, but today we haven't done that, have we? Okay, we're up to number 6, entry number 6, which is an Indian oat dosa with vegetable mash.
This was a nice change because it did bring in a completely different cultural style to it, and made these very, very nice pancakes, which I thought were quite interesting. Again, another way to use rolled oats. Thank
you. I'm glad someone is saying that other than myself.
What I really like with the presentation with this one was we can see on the photographs now on screen the different steps that were taken in making this particular dish. So, sometimes the end product, as impressive as it is, it's hard to know how it was made. So for future reference, if you do like taking photographs of the processes in making these things, these wonderful dishes, entries, please remember that and do that as well. Okay, we're moving on now to entry number 7. Tootles and poodles and pumpkin butter oatmeal raisin no-bake balls.
Well, the name is amazing. Tootles and poodles. Very interesting. How to make noodles. This is a very interesting dish. How to make noodles from the potatoes and the togan, the winter melon. Interestingly, coming from having done it before with zucchini. Again, I have never made noodles from those.
You obviously haven't gone to a vegan restaurant or a raw restaurant. It is taking raw vegetables, such as a zucchini, and shredding them into pasta.
Right.
You should go to LA more often.
Obviously, well, it's not
It's
so
not
easy.
so
now.
easy right now, is it? We'll all have to go to LA. Yes, let's
Is
do
it
that.
a refugee visit there?
Yeah.
So the presentation of this was very nice, with the pumpkins decoration for Halloween. So this is the Halloween dish of the submissions.
Moving on to entry number 8. Togan soup with croquet with pumpkin seed pesto sauce and oatmeal cookies.
Well, talking about efficient use of ingredients, which is one of the prizes that we will come up with at the end. The early one about using the remainder from cooking the oatmeal. The other one that comes up quite often, which I approve of highly, is leaving the skin on the potatoes. I see no reason to take skin off potatoes. There's lots of nutrition in the skin, as long as you clean them. And this one comments on you getting a nice texture on the potatoes when they cook them with the skin on. It also had a memory of the person had lived in Hong Kong. And interestingly, obviously they eat Togan in Hong Kong, because a lot of people, they'd never encountered the winter melon Togan before. And the other thing in this is using pumpkin seed to make a kind of pesto, which I thought was also very interesting. Beautifully presented.
Yes, very beautifully presented, and we can all see that on the screen. Wonderful. Okay, so entry number 9, oven-baked potatoes, schnitzel-style nuggets with Togan vegetable, and muesli.
And this was, well, obviously schnitzel, it's a German influence. The participant was brought up in Germany. And this is Grandma's inspiration. The ideas for this, especially the schnitzel, came from remembering her grandmother's cooking, or his grandmother's cooking, excuse me. Again, skin on the potatoes, so of course I approved highly here. Produced 4 dishes from this. Well done.
I think it also, one of the nice things about it is that there were 3 substantially different textures, and just eating boiled stuff gets boring.
Yes. Yes.
Like oatmeal.
It included a can of chickpeas too, I forgot to mention that. And using the chickpea water, again, good use of ingredients.
And entry number 10, pan-fried Togan and potato with condensed milk and raisin syrup sauce, and oat pumpkin seed crumb.
Now this was described as a challenge to the participant, and wanting to take the dish in a sweeter direction. So yeah, personal challenge is what it's all about anyway, so that was great. And the presentation is very, it's minimal presentation, and it's very, I can't think of the right word for the gourmet style of presentation, so nicely presented. I think my father would have said, why is there a hole in the middle?
The aesthetics, you see.
I think there's many a philosophy that's written about the hole in the middle.
Yes. But it's nicely done.
Well, the inventor of the donut made a fortune
Well, exactly. yes.
on the concept
Who
of
was
the
he?
hole in the middle. Mr. Donut.
No, it predates him.
It does?
And actually, just to comment on that, one of the reasons for the hole in the middle is it increases the surface area of the pastry so that the high temperature of the oil can quickly cook everything.
That's right.
So you can cook your donuts faster than you can your little balls.
So next, entry number 11 is Typhoon inspired sweet porridge with roast potatoes. Typhoon inspired.
Well, that's everything's got to have an inspiration. I remember in the last cooking challenge, somebody was inspired by a rainy day, and it's the same thing. What do you want when it's a typhoon or a rainy day? You want something comforting. You want something homely to make you feel a bit cozy at home. So this is obviously the perfect dish, and it inspired the participant. Interestingly, the participant read about the potatoes. So I think the people in Nakatsugawa will be very pleased to hear that. And how flavourful they are. This participant had difficulty roasting the Togan, and probably having heard what we said about the others who pressed it between paper, maybe that would help. But the comment is the dish was delicious, and of course we can't tell anyone whether any of these are delicious, so it's a virtual challenge, isn't it? We have to believe them.
It's a virtual taste.
Yes, I'm sure it's correct.
Well, if the presentation is anything to go by, I'm sure they're absolutely delightful, all of the dishes. And I'm sitting here not having had anything to eat today.
The entry, they remarked on how it really was delicious, and all they had was salt and pepper, and I think that's a reminder of modern day cooking, is that really salt and pepper are astounding, and sometimes they need no additions.
And the foods themselves are
Yeah,
delicious.
food.
And sometimes we
ingredients are astounding.
override the taste, natural taste of the foods with too much addition. So that makes this challenge even more interesting.
Yes, indeed. Entry number 12. Roasted potato and Togan mash with harissa, oatmeal, pumpkin seed, and raisin balls.
Yes, adding.
Okay, I normally follow, but this time I'm leading. And that is the comment, I found the thick slice of the Togan to be really a pleasant change. Everybody's been chopping them up and boiling them. Here, they're using it as the slab to present the whole meal. It almost doesn't need a plate.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I made that comment too, and using that to serve up. And the harissa, sadly, it didn't help the appearance. We didn't get the colour in the appearance, but I'm sure it made it really tasty. I don't mean that disparagingly on the appearance, but you didn't pick up the harissa from the look of it. And yeah, very popular. The dessert's very popular, isn't it? It comes out in lots of them. Nicely baked. The oatmeal balls there. And raisins soaked. In fact, this was interesting. I eat anything with raisins. I just absolutely love them. And several of the dishes, people have soaked the raisins and in several cases pureed them. No, I hadn't thought of doing that. I don't know why, but I will now.
And Jane is a professional baker. Well, was.
Yes, it was.
Restaurateur.
That's how we met, through bread.
Yeah.
Oh.
We met through bread.
But
True
that's
enough.
the story for another day.
Have you tried raisins on ice cream? Vanilla ice cream?
Yeah.
Oh, of course you have.
Yeah.
But they're
I've
especially.
tried raisins on anything.
But they're especially the infusing, softening helps them on top. You know, it's like making compost.
Certainly, I soak raisins when making, even for granola, when I make granola, because then they puff up and so on. But I hadn't thought of pureeing them, that's what my point is.
On to entry number 13. Potage soup and potato rosti and granola.
With this one, I would particularly like to pick out the lovely presentation of the ingredients and the process. It's really nicely done. It looks like a take on a bento style, but it's not. It's the process, and it's just beautifully presented. Well done. And then the final dishes with making it look like flower and blossom shape. The dishes are very nice, but the presentation is particularly good. And again, using the melon bowl as the container. And I always think this is really good. Any natural container that you can use for presenting food is always the best thing.
And if you're thinking, I mean, I may be overthinking this, but in a refugee camp situation, of course, that would be something that is just done as a matter of necessity.
Yep.
So,
yes. I mean,
I doubt
probably
if
some
they pass
people
out
do have
sets of
plates,
eight,
but that's right. Yeah, they don't have that many.
Mm.
So often, making the use of what's available, definitely.
And here we are in the month of October. Entry number 14 is the October Healthy Dish.
But again, great seasonal. It's so suitable for Japan as well. Good use of ingredients. Now the interesting added ingredient here was dashiki tamago. Now I kind of knew what it was, but I never knew it came in cans.
Well, we had a discussion in the office, and I found the label handmade canned goods as a reminder that you know, we all look at canned goods, oh, that's canned goods, except there can be handmade canned goods. It obviously comes from a very small food factory. I believe it is the spices for making the tamagoyaki. There's no egg inside that thing.
Ah,
In that it would, I think, go against the handmade feeling to have powdered egg.
yes.
So I think this is just someone's own grandma's special recipe of how she spiced her tamagoyaki.
Interesting, because she calls it dashi maki tamago. So maki is the roll inside the can, isn't it? So, yeah.
Because I don't see no maki tamago in the picture.
No, it's mixed in with the oats.
Chopped.
So it's been crushed. The egg mixture, if it is egg, has been crushed, and it's mixed in with the oatmeal and baked, which actually sounds quite interesting. But it's
It looks good. In fact, that was one of the main things when I looked at the photo, and I'm not a scrambled egg eater, but I looked at that and I said, wow, that looks really good. Two different dishes there, and having the Togan presented much more as a dessert rather than perpetually as a soup. I mean, that's
With the
sweetened up.
raisins. Yeah.
It's ready to eat for your dessert.
The raisins were magic throughout all these presentations as to whether to use it in a savoury dish or a sweet dish, and a lot of people found that actually it can be both. So,
No, I think that would make a great t-shirt. Raisins are magic. What are you talking about? And then we could explain.
my mantra.
Entry number 15 is cornucopia of Togan, potato, oatmeal, raisins, pumpkin seeds, and olives.
So that tells you that all the ingredients went into this one plate dish, except that it all fell out of the melon shell. So nicely done. This was done to music, because the instructions include what music you put on the stove, and it says it's inspired by R. Burns, who is a Scottish poet, for those of you who don't know. So interesting. Oh, and there's a pipe band on one of the CDs. So, but the interesting comment at the end is arrange as a cornucopia to remind ourselves that not everyone shares our relative abundance, and then you serve it. There's not much more to say on that. It sums it up.
Not to always have the last word, except I was going to suggest some other music. I thought Bon Iver as the lead-in. I like the pipes at the end, but then cooking the music is probably more personal than the taste discussion.
Very personal, yes, very personal. But a very, very colourful result as it the cornucopia tumbles out of the melon shell.
Fantastic. Well, entry number 16. Let's move along to this. Languages closer to my own language, i.e. French, I have no idea how to pronounce. So it's croquet de pomme, de terre sur une lit de tomate. Is that right?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Get a C.
Pomme de terre is one. It's apples of the earth, right? So that's potatoes.
Potatoes, right.
And croquettes. Everyone knows croquettes. And lit. No, it's not a lit.
What is it?
A lit.
Lee, why is there a T in? No, I mean, that's...
Exactly.
that's-
Ask the French.
Well,
It's on a bed of tomato.
It's on a bed of tomato.
Sur un lit de tomate.
Wonderful. Well done. Oh, did you say that again? That was quite nice.
This submission was from somebody who's on a particular diet. Doesn't say what diet it is, but because of being on a particular diet, found this was very good to be introduced to 2 new ingredients. So I think that's great to know that, but it's also served a purpose in another way. Great aesthetic presentation. I'm sure the taste is also.
They were very good-looking oatmeal cookies too.
Very good-looking oatmeal cookies.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Ali Shan's got some great oatmeal cookies
Oh,
as well.
yes.
yes.
We have to try and get ourselves some soon. Entry number 17 is roasted togan and potato in garlic chili, oat, raisin, condensed milk, pumpkin seed balls.
This was quite clever, getting round the flavours with the garlic and chilli by having an oil that's flavoured with garlic and chilli. So it's quite allowed. a nice flavour.
I was just sitting here going through, hold it, how do we get the garlic and chili? I'm glad you explained that, because I thought, why are they?
You just said oil. It could be used oil, so it's not broken any rules, because the condensed milk will be the
It must have been because after having read all these other recipes, I got to this, and I said, oh wow, garlic potatoes sounds good. And I think it's because there hasn't been anything in that direction.
Yeah. A nice presentation using the Japanese cloth designs.
Moving on to entry number 18, potato, beetroot and Togan soup, oats raisin, pumpkin seed roast.
Using beetroot is also a great idea because it's a beautiful coloured soup, very beautiful coloured soup, and probably tastes great too. I'm sure all these taste great, but sometimes you can eat with your eyes, can't you? Taste with your eyes. And the baked dish of things, and Jack, this must have been quite inspiring for you with the way this is done with the oats as well. It looks great.
Well, I mean, we've all had oat bread, but that's, looks like bread with a little bit of oats mixed into the flour. This one is bread of oats. Yeah, no, it's good.
I can imagine spooning that out and just...
I like the bread of oats. It's a bread. Just has a
I'm
very
the oat
real kind of
marketing
sound. Bread of oats. I love that. That's another one we could put on a t-shirt. Bread of oats.
Bread of oats, yeah.
And we're on now to our final entry out of our 19 entries for the day. A snack quartet.
Yep.
Oatcakes 2 ways, potato crisps 2 ways.
Yes.
They like it both ways.
Great, yeah. Let's try different ways, and this is all again part of the challenge. Let's see how many different things we can produce, and produce, as it says, snack quartet. Trying 2 things 2 ways. I was particularly interested in this, particularly after we've been talking about how to use the Togan, the difficulties that some people had of how to cook it, and getting rid of the excess. This one, this participant actually dehydrated the melon before frying it. No brainer really, but it's well thought out because we haven't all thought about that. That's for sure.
We haven't all thought it out.
No. And another touch of Scotland here maybe with the plain oatcakes and raisin oatcakes. Plain oatcakes are very Scottish. I don't know whether that was behind this dish. Yeah, so 2 dishes 2 ways, and nice presentation again, nice dishes used. Makes quite a lot of difference, choice of dishes.
Presentation is a big thing in all of the entries that we have this time around. Of course, the last time around as well.
Eat with your eyes.
Yes, eat with your eyes. Eyes are bigger than the stomach. Eat with your eyes.
So you can eat
That's
more.
when you've had too much.
That's right, and I'm quite good at that. All right then, so we're going to take a quick break while our judges assess the entries. During that time, we'll take a quick look around this wonderful establishment known as Alishan, and we'll see you in a few minutes' time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Virtual Cooking Challenge 2 here at the wonderful Alishan in Hanno in Saitama. With the river behind us here. Fantastic location. Spiders dropping from the heavens. It's absolutely delightful and we highly recommend it. And I'm sure you enjoyed the tour that you've just seen during the half time. Now it's time to announce winners, prizes and all of that. Jane?
But I'd just like to reflect on the overall event. Of course, it's a fundraiser for REI to support the projects that we fund in various countries, which give people the opportunity to rebuild and to get back some kind of normality into their lives and become independent of aid, which is all about dignity. And interestingly, that's the fundraiser, but obviously the theme of it is to give us time to understand a little bit about what refugees may face, and in this sense it was the food side. And it was very interesting to read that several of the participants found this a good opportunity to cook with their children and talk about refugees and explain the issue with refugees to their children. And I thought that was great, to provide that opportunity. It's not something that will come up necessarily so easily in conversation. So that was a very a nice side of it. It was a very beneficial aspect of the event. The inspiration people got from discovering things that they didn't know they could do is always great to read that, and that's fantastic. One participant talked about it in respect to Zen Shojin Ryori, which is all about harmony with nature and good use of ingredients, as is the theme of the event. So that's an interesting comparison. And just the overall energy that went into it and how much people appreciated doing this and facing that challenge and learning new things about their own cooking as well as about the ingredients. So I loved it. I love reading about it. I love reading the enthusiasm that went into it. You're all winners. Thank you very much for participating.
Thank you very much indeed. Now the prizes we have for the cooking challenge, the virtual cooking challenge 2, we have a creativity prize, which is Jack's prize, and he has some wonderful items from Alishan's for you. We also have an efficient economical use of ingredients prize, which Jane has decided on, and of course the overall winner at the end. And we also have something called the People's Choice Awards, which we will explain towards the end of this part of today's live stream. All right, Jack, first of all, the Alishan prize.
Okay, well it goes without saying that of course I had many favorites and trying to decide which takes effort. But I realized that entry number 8, if you can recall, which is made up of Togan soup, croquet with pumpkin seed pesto sauce, potato chips, and an oatmeal cookie. That's 5 separate dishes made from 5 ingredients. I think that's a sign of great creativity. One of the reasons why I chose this dish is potato skins, fried potato skins. I think is very creative. It's totally, as Jane will get into, avoidance of waste. And also looking at the photo that's on your screen, you can see that this whole dish is visually creative. The crenulated Togan cut like a crown with the soup inside. I found that just a touch, you don't eat it, except as we've all said many times, you eat with your eyes. And so I found generating 5 separate flavors, 5 separate dishes out of 5 ingredients to be the true sign of creativity, and I'm awarding number 8 their prize of the Alishan Creativity Award of REI. I just made that new one.
And the winner of that is Saya Matsumoto, Omedetou gozaimasu.
But I said what this prize is.
Yes, what is your prize?
And the prize, continuing with the tradition of you didn't know what you were getting into when you signed up for this, is we will send you a box of 5,000 yen worth of products from Alishan Cafe. And we hope you are as creative in using them as you have been today in making the dishes. So, thank you very much.
Terrific, congratulations. All right, then now moving along to the efficient / economical use of ingredients, Fabio's prize.
Yes, thank you very much to Fabio Hair Salon in between Omotesando and Gayam Mai. You will get a voucher for a haircut and a head massage, scalp massage.
Scalp massage. Don't mind if I do.
Wouldn't want a haircut, would he? Very difficult because everyone was quite efficient in the use of ingredients here, and I've talked about it all the way through, as you know. I mean, I'm somebody who composts all food waste in my house, so I'm very aware of this. I'm very careful about it too. I then use it to grow other things, so that's the cycle, isn't it? So I finally settled on entry number 9 mainly because it produced 5 dishes, and therefore producing 5 dishes out of all those ingredients was very, very efficient use.
Terrific. So that's Leonore Stefan, the winner of that award. Congratulations. Fabio's prize.
Muesli balls, I don't know how to pronounce it because there's an U with an umlaut.
Ah,
we say in English muesli.
So I said muesli when I introduced it, so I hope that
was
isn't
all right.
incorrect. All right, then now finally we move along to the overall winner, the prize presented by Tokyo Edition Toranomon.
And a big thank you to Tokyo Edition Toranomon, beautiful hotel in Toranomon. They hosted the last cooking challenge and provided the winning prize for this one as well. So thank you very much to the Tokyo Edition. I hope you get a chance, all of you get a chance to go and see. Sometimes it is a very beautiful place. Difficult. Jack and I talked about this. Overall, we settled on number 16.
Number 16. And that is Tony
Ruyard.
Tony Ruyard. Congratulations to Tony Ruyard with your
Number 16 is also the one for you to practice your French with.
Oh
Man.
Oh, man.
Okay, that was very well done.
Yes.
The voice
I
change.
forgot what congratulations is in French, but anyway.
You know, in looking at the photo, first off, I liked the food. I wanted to eat it. But I also thought it was visually, the whole package was a good enough looking dish that you could serve it in a restaurant for a reasonable sum of money. And people say, oh, that's very nice.
Making the croquettes from that, just very nice way to serve that for food.
And it is very visually wonderfully, as you can see on the screen. It's wonderfully pleasing. Color balance with the plates as well. For the with the red.
And the oatmeal cookies look really tasty.
Well, congratulations to everybody, and thanks to our very generous prize awarders. And of course, we have Alishan's prize, Fabio's prize, and the Tokyo Edition Toranomon prize. We are nothing without sponsors, are we? Alishan, of course, Jack is one of them. Actually, when Jane first said, oh, Alishan talks about you quite a lot, your restaurant, you say quite a lot, I was expecting a Turkish fellow, Alishan, right? So then when we were told Jack was involved, I couldn't really understand where Jack came from. But,
Actually, I would say, the first time I went to Tokyo Customs years ago, they asked the same question.
so we haven't actually found out what Alishan means, or what it is, or where the name came from.
Alishan is my wife's hometown, which is also referring to the tallest mountain in Taiwan, which is taller than Mount Fuji by 100 meters.
Competition.
And so at the bottom of the mountain, it's tropical, papaya, pineapple, and at the top of the mountain, it's above the tree line with snow. Only a little bit of snow.
All year.
Because it's so much, no, not all year. It's so much further south than Fuji, which does not have snow all year either.
No, it doesn't.
No, it
In fact, it doesn't have any snow yet, and you can see it, Mount Fuji, on a 15-minute walk from the cafe. But Alishan, the mountain in Taiwan, it's stunningly beautiful, is the reason for the name of our cafe.
Excellent. So once again, Alishan, Fabio, Tokyo Edition Toranomon, we thank you all very much for your support, as well as...
There's one more donor, because if you still got a chance to win
That's right.
a prize. The People's Award, and the winner of the People's Award, which we'll explain in a second, will receive a voucher from Club 360, which is a gym and fitness centre in the Azabu area of Tokyo. Nathan Smith, who runs that, is also a regular supporter of REI activities.
Now,
So-
360 is about halfway between the Grand Hyatt and the Chinese embassy.
Yeah, actually, it's more Roppongi, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah, it's
said
closer to
Azabu.
Roppongi.
Sorry, misleading you.
That's
I think
okay,
The
no-
address might be Azabu.
It's on the road that connects Hiro and Keyakizaka,
Yes,
where Grand
that's
Hyatt
right.
is. It's on that road, just up
Great,
from the
great
Chinese.
tune. Great.
It is great. It is great. Yes.
Yes, Nathan is a good supporter.
He
So
is.
the People's Award, you need to post the pictures of your dishes onto Instagram, and that will go up until the 12th of October, and the person who gets the most likes on Instagram will win the voucher for 360. And we just hope that Instagram and Facebook don't keep playing us.
And that's the Instagram page for REI, right?
Oh well, no, they post it on their
On their own
page.
Instagram.
But you'll get the instructions. There's a hashtag.
Okay then. There's a hashtag.
Sorry, I should have explained that.
That's okay. No, we all know now. But we sisters, please hope that Facebook and Instagram don't take another vacation.
I'm sure they're all running around like idiots to make sure it doesn't happen.
Well, it was such a surprise. I mean, going online last night to upload some of these photos to the event page, and it wasn't moving, nothing was happening, and then we got some information this morning saying you really shouldn't be trying streaming this afternoon if you are going live streaming, so we decided to do it this way. And thank you all very much for waiting until the evening for this virtual cooking challenge, and the results, of course, which we're all waiting for with bated breath.
Baby breath for sure.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Okay, as you all know, REI has lots and lots of events all year round. The next one of these cooking challenges is in January, and there'll be information being forwarded to you soon enough regarding that. But in between now and then, there are some wonderful events happening. One of them is the walking challenge, which we'll talk about in a minute, but the other two events are events that are related to food. One of them is called Round the World in 80 Recipes. The other one is Chef Musa's webinar. Jane, some details on it.
Okay, well, Round the World in 80 Recipes is inspired by a company called Farm Canning, who were sponsors of the previous cooking challenge. And we are looking for collaborators, and we're looking for more and more companies to be involved in this. And the principle of it is that people will, either through purchases or donating to through the companies who are collaborating in the project, people will receive a recipe from the refugee projects or areas where refugees are living, and on the back of the recipe card will be information about the displacement issues in that area and what REI has supported there. Well, we hope you'll get to 80 recipes, but the principle behind this is a collection, and secondly to learn information and understand the issues in the different areas where refugees and IDPs, internally displaced people, are forced to live. The webinar with Chef Musa, he is a Turkish chef, and he has done a lot to preserve the traditions, the cultural traditions of food in Turkey. He's produced a huge book of recipes, and he is very keen to support us, and he is going to do a webinar on the 4th of December. There is some information already on our website about this, and more will come once we have more details, so 4th of December.
Jane, this chef is located in Turkey.
Yes, he's in Turkey. I was trying to remember if I can pronounce his surname. It's something like Daktiveren, but my apologies.
Chef Musa Daktiveren.
He is, you can see him on, if those of you have Netflix, there's a program called Chef's Table, the series called Chef's Table, and Chef Musa is in one of those series. And I found that very interesting because he talked about the moving around Turkey, often having to move around because of ethnic issues within Turkey, and discovering that some of the food traditions were disappearing. So he's dedicated his time to writing about this and produced all those recipes, and he would love to share it with us in the webinar. We're expecting it to be 2 hours, but the details still have to be finalised on the webinar. 4th of December.
So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that, and make sure you always regularly check the REI website, the events page in the website for details.
It'll be 5 or 5:30 Japan time. Because we are appealing to people. We have an Australia office, as many as you know, so we're appealing to lots of people around the world to sign in for that.
Sign in, log on and enjoy.
And then the walking
The
challenge.
walking challenge.
The walking challenge is going to be from the 13th of November to the 1st of December. That is also up on our website. You can't register for that yet, please note, because registration for the walking challenge, it will be our third walking challenge, but the registration for the challenge has to be done on the site where we do the challenge, the mission site. This one is going to be from An, which is the capital of Karen State, Myanmar, to Friendship Bridge, which is on the border of Thailand, in a place called Mae Sot. It's the third one. They've been really good, the walking challenge, because it's something you can do through exercising here or wherever you're living. And it's something you can participate in wherever you live.
And there's a virtual component to that as well, I believe.
Yes,
You
well,
can-
the virtual walk through Karen State, yes. And we give you milestones to check along the way with information about Karen State or the refugee situation or projects that we support. So
It's keeping fit and also keeping in the know about issues regarding refugees around the world.
Yep.
But also the length of this in time. How long is this walk in time?
131 kilometres.
131 kilometers, and you have how long to complete that? Do you remember?
30th of November.
So-
I think it's 19 days.
19 days. So
It's
that's actually
approximately 6 to 7 kilometres a day.
And that
I've
can
done
be-
both walking challenges, and it's a challenge. But you can cycle, you can swim, you can run.
But
I
it's-
happen to walk, so it's a challenge.
Well, I did one, and it was actually kind of, I thought, with my daily commute, walking from my house to the station, from the station to a studio or what have you, I got through 6 to 7 Ks a day just doing that, and it was really fulfilling. I would highly recommend it. Really, it was fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us for the second of the virtual cooking challenges for REI. We're here at Alishan's today. We thank Jack once again for his wonderful hospitality.
My pleasure.
And the birds and the bees and the spiders and the trees. It's been a fantastic day, and we look forward to seeing you again for
And
the
thank you
virtual.
to Stuart,
Oh,
too.
yes, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you for the virtual cooking challenge number 3 in January 2022. Take care, stay safe. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.